Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tacho Jayamudhirayet. Before one reads the Srimad Bhagavatam, one should offer respectful obeisances to Nara Narayana Rishis, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the highest human being, Vyasadeva, the compiler of this book, and Saraswati, the goddess of learning. So Deutsch oder Englisch? Alle verstehen Deutsch? Deutsch? Ein bisschen. Englisch. You speak English? Verstehst du Englisch? Ne? So, wir machen ich denke, übersetzt du lieber ins Englisch oder ins Deutsch? Okay. Dann machen wir Englisch. So we'll do English. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, with the original Sanskrit text in Roman transliteration, synonyms and translations, and elaborate purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj returns home, text 53. Please repeat. Lalyamanam Janair Evam Dhruvam Sabhratanam Sabhrataram Nripaham Aropya Karinim Hrishtaha Stuyamano Vishat Puram. Line by line. Lalyamanam Janairevam Lalyamanam Janairevam Dhruvam Sambhratraram Nripaham Dhruvam Sambhratraram Nripaham Aropyakarinim Hrishtaha Aropyaharinim Hrishta Stuyamano Vishatpuram. Stuyamano Vishatpuram. Lalyamanam Janadevam. Dhruvam Sambrataram Nripaham. Arupyakarinim Hrishta. Stuyamano Vishatpuram. Lalyamanam Janadevam. Dhruvam Sambrataram Nripaham. Aropyakarinim Hrishta. Stuyamano Vishatpuram. Ladies. Word by word translation. Lalyamanam, being thus praised. Janaihi, by the people in general. Evam, thus. Dhruvam, Maharaj Dhruva. Sabrataram, with his brother. Nripaha, the king. Aropya, placing. Karinim, on the back of a she-elephant. Rishtaha, being so pleased. Stuyamanaha, and being so praised. Avishat, returned. Puram, to his capital. Translation and later purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The sage Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, when everyone was thus praising Dhruva Maharaj, the king was very happy. And he had Dhruva and his brother seated on the back of a she-elephant. Thus he returned to his capital, where he was praised by all classes of men. Text 54. Tatra tatropa sankalpatair lasang makaratora nahi savrindai kadhalistambaihi pugapotaischa tatvidahai. Translation and purport. The whole city was decorated with columns and banana trees containing bunches of fruits and flowers, and betel nut trees with leaves and branches were seen here and there. There were also many gates set up which were structured to give the appearance of sharks. Purport. with decorations of the green leaves of palms, coconut trees, betel nut trees, and banana trees, and fruits, flowers, and leaves, are an age-old custom in India. To receive his great son Dhruva Maharaj, King Uttanapada arranged a good reception, and all the citizens very enthusiastically took part with great jubilation. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopipakanta Radhakanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pangur Mamamanda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radhamadana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadru Madaha Srimad Ratangara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govindadeva Prashtalivi Savamana Osmarami Shrimandra Sarasaram Vivam Siva Tatatastitaha Karsham Veno Swanar Gopir Gopinata Shriyestunaha Taptakanchana Gorangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once again the two verses. Layamanam janairevam dhruvam sambrataram ripaha aropya karinim hrishtah stuyamano vishatpuram. The sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, when everyone was thus praising Dhruva Maharaj, the king was very happy, and he had Dhruva and his brothers seated on the back of a she-elephant. Thus he returned to his capital, where he was praised by all classes of men. Tatra tatropa sankalptair lasang ma karatoranahi savrindhai kadali stambahi pugapotascha tatvidara vidhaihi. The whole city was decorated with columns of banana trees containing bunches of fruits and flowers, and betel nut trees with leaves and branches were seen here and there. There were also many gates set up which were structured to give the appearance of sharks. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, good morning. So, this is a very nice description. And in a few places we will find such descriptions in the Bhagavatam or in the Puranas, where when some personality returns, a great personality returns, or when a reception is made, there is many descriptions how a city or a house is decorated and cleansed to make it very auspicious. And Srila Prabhupada is saying here in the purport that this is an age-old custom in India. You know? So for many people, when they go to India, they are very shocked at how dirty, stinky, unorganized, and horrible it is. In many places, at least. But if you're lucky enough to know some, places where some remnants, of this ancient culture still being lived, you could say perceive this very sublime culture. And actually, it is in many places. You just need to have the eyes to see it also. It's like Ramakana Maharaj was telling that he had a friend when he was living in Mayapur. He was taking care of finishing the Prabhupada Samadhi structure. And so very regularly they had to go to Calcutta. Very regularly they went to Calcutta. And Ramakana Maharaj used to say to his friend, "Oh, Calcutta is such a horrible place, you know. It's just horrible, you know. Such a horrible place." And his friend said, "No, I like Calcutta. Is such a nice place." Like, what do you mean? We're always doing the same tours together, you know, to arrange for different, you know, I don't know, companies to do something or to organize for concrete or whatever. Like, how you say we're doing the same tours in the same city? How you can say that the Calcutta is nice? You know, it's just gray and dirty and loud and full of people and, you know, and noisy. And it's like, no, Calcutta has so many nice gardens. Like, what do you mean Calcutta has nice gardens? I didn't see any gardens in Calcutta. And then his friend said, "Well, you're a little bit smaller than me. I'm tall enough. I can look over all the fences and all the walls, all the boundary walls. And Calcutta has so many nice gardens, you know. People have in their backyard, you know, nice gardens. But if you are a little bit smaller, you only see the gray walls, you know, and Calcutta is not very nice." So that's a very good analogy for India, because if you go with a certain view and you go to certain places, many people are shocked. Many people come to India and they stay a few hours and said, "Okay, I can't handle India. I'm going back," you know. But those who are lucky and, you know, dig a little bit deeper, they will find this very sublime culture, you know, very sublime, very beautiful. I spent some time in Mysore in South India. It's a city in Karnataka, and it's a very ancient royal city. There's a very famous city palace there, and the family who rules Mysore, they are great devotees, and the Mysore throne is also very famous. But the whole city, you know, has this ancient culture still very much alive. You know? So the area where we were living, every morning, all the families, they would decorate their entrances, you know. They would put this mango leaf strings, and they would wash the entire area with some fragrant, you know, rose water, and they would make this beautiful rangoli, you know, designs, and, you know, chirping, and they were doing puja, and you could smell all this jasmine that they were using in garlands, and amazing, you know, incredible, you know, very, very auspicious, very. It pacifies the mind. You feel like you are in a heavenly planet, you know. And the whole city is like that, actually. Some areas more or less, but the whole city has like very big roads, huge ancient trees. And one of the big spectacles of this city is also they have elephants. Like here also we hear that King Uttanapada put Dhruva and his brother on a she-elephant. So the elephants, they regularly make a round in Mysore city. They go, I don't know where they go, but they go from the palace, they go somewhere. So when you are in the city, you for sure at one point will see these elephants, like many, like maybe 10, 20, 30 elephants, you know, nicely decorated, or just, you know, coming from their bathing, you know, session, you know, with their mahots on top on this big procession. Very, very, they say, amazing, you know, very, very amazing. So, yeah, if you really want to see this age-old customs of India, you have to look a little bit. You need to know where to go, you know. If you just go to Delhi, Taj Mahal, and Jaipur, you might see a little bit, but not too much, you know. Many people just do the so-called golden triangle. They just want to see the Taj Mahal. But the Taj Mahal is not very representative of actually what India is. No? Taj Mahal is actually just a tomb. Nothing really spiritual in that sense. And yes, but in many places we can still find this tradition, this you could say sublime, and whenever this tradition is applied, you can really feel, you could say this, you could say remnants of Vedic culture. One example, also one very simple, like you'd say, tradition that we also follow is that we put tulasi leaves on every meal. You know? So Krishna only accepts, a meal if tulasi leaves is on top. You know? It's like a good pizza is only good with a basil. You know, in similar way, a really good offering for the Lord is only good when there's the holy basil, tulasi, on top. And it's a very small, subtle touches which make, which have a subtle, auspicious effect, or a very deep spiritual meaning, like in the case of, offering tulasi to Krishna. It's a very deep meaning. There's a very long story, of how Krishna, took the form of Shalagrama, and Tulasi Devi took the form of this plant, and how Krishna only accepts offerings if Tulasi is there. So it's a very deep spiritual meaning also behind it. The more you dig deeper into different traditions, the traditional, you could say, customs always have a deep meaning, actually. If you ask local people, they might have some local folklore reason why they do something. But very often, many of the traditions are also based on the Puranas. It's described in the Puranas, in the Bhagavatam, and many of these things are still being followed even nowadays. Some time ago, I saw one movie from, I think it was from Marathi movie. So Maratha means like this is the area around Mumbai. And it was really surprising because the whole movie had this episodes of street singers singing, and they were singing all the stories of the Bhagavatam. So it was a random movie actually. Somehow I saw it, and the whole movie had the story of Varahadev, the story of the churning of the milk ocean, the story of Mohini Murti. So many stories of the Bhagavatam were enacted as dance, sing drama. It's like very traditional. In the squares of the town, these traditional dancers, they would assemble and they would sing and play some simple instruments and narrate this, songs from the Bhagavatam. So very deep underneath, India is still very much connected to the Vedic culture. At first sight, it doesn't look like it, but if you look a little bit deeper, the Vedic culture is running very, very deep. It's even thousands of years, for a very long period of, or hundreds of years at least, many centuries, there was a lot of disruption, foreign rulers in India. Still, the original tradition remains very much existing. And the example Srila Prabhupada gives is of the living elephant and a dead elephant. Srila Prabhupada says that a living elephant and a dead elephant is always worth 100,000 rupees. Probably nowadays much more, because nowadays the rupee is not so much valued anymore. But back then, 100,000 rupees was a lot of money. A lakpati. The point is that a living elephant and a dead elephant are equally valued. A living elephant is very intelligent, very powerful, very intelligent also, very useful, very strong, can do all kinds of tasks. And when the elephant dies, then still it's 100,000 rupees worth, or the same value, because of the skin, the bones, the ivory, everything can be used with a dead elephant. So Srila Prabhupada says that Vedic culture is like that. Vedic culture is not alive anymore, but it still has the same value. So that's a very interesting point, that Vedic culture might not be alive in India. So India officially is a socialist republic, but in India and other parts also, Nepal, maybe in Bali also, some areas in Thailand also, many parts of the world, still some traces of Vedic culture are left. A very good example is also Thailand. If you've ever been to Thailand, Thailand, even its It's Kali Yuga. It's very degraded, and also the Thai king is very degraded, actually. I don't know if you know him, but if you have heard about him, you know that he's very degraded. He likes to come to Munich to the nightclubs. But at the same time, the king of Thailand, when he was crowned, he was crowned in a traditional Raja Abhishekam, because this tradition is still very much alive in Thailand. So they, again, had a huge procession. If you want to see some Vedic culture, like royal Vedic culture, you won't find it in India anymore, because there's no kings in India anymore. But in Thailand, you can see still Vedic culture, traditional Vedic culture. So they have this huge procession of elephants, white elephants. Especially in Thailand, they like white elephants. And they perform a Raja Abhishekam. So Raja, we do Abhishekam for the deity. If you read the Mahabharata, there's descriptions, or also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, whenever a king is crowned, whenever a king is crowned, an Abhishekam is performed. Raja Abhishekam. So that means the king is seated, on a platform, on a Abhishek Pitam, and he's offered all kind of different items. Auspicious items are shown to the king, like we also, not always, but regularly do here for big ceremonies. We show different like umbrellas and mirrors and flags and different auspicious items to the deity. In a very similar way, all of these items are shown to the king, and then the king, an Abhishekam is performed, with holy water from different rivers, and full Abhishekam, and the king has to sit there and is bathed. And just like you install a deity, you install a king also. So not too long ago, maybe 4 years ago, the king of Thailand, the successor, was installed, in a very traditional Raja Abhishekam. So they seated him in this, elevated mandapam, and they got, holy water from the Ganges, also from India, and then on many other holy rivers and holy places. And then they did a Raja Abhishekam for the king of Thailand, whose official royal name is Rama, the, 8th or something, or 9th, I don't know. So, and in honor of the previous king, Rama, they're building a huge tower also, big tower. Also the tradition of decorating the city, as we hear here, you can see that very much in Bali, in Indonesia. If you go to Bali, there is this Kuningan festival, and it's kind of like the new year, for Bali, for the Balinese Hindus, and they decorate the entire island, literally the entire island, every 20 meters, in every road in the entire island, you will find this beautiful palm leaf decorations, like we hear here. We hear this. The whole city was decorated with columns of banana trees containing bunches of fruits and flowers, betel nut trees with leaves and branches, etc. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions, palm trees, banana trees, it's incredibly. You feel like you are on a different planet, when you experience such a, you could say, amount of dedication and love they put in decorating. They in Bali, all the markets open more or less around 3 a.m. So at 3 a.m., if you want to get fresh fruits, fresh flowers, you have to be. If you come at 7, you're almost too late. So. In the Muhurta, very early, Brahma Muhurta, that's when all the markets open in Bali. And they have tons of flowers and very nice, like they fold and braid, palm leaves and make these beautiful hanging columns, which are curved, like, slightly curved at the side. And they have all kind of different patterns and symbols of Shankha, Chakra, or lotus made out of, palm leaf. And they decorate the entire city, literally every 20 meters, maybe every 50 meters. Like in Germany, we have this white and black poles with reflectors. in the same distance, they put this beautiful palm leaves decorations, and you can feel that this is a very auspicious remnant of Vedic culture. So in many ways, actually, it's certainly true that many traces of Vedic culture you will not be able to find in India anymore, but you will find it in some other areas outside of India where Vedic culture also spread, especially Southeast Asia and Bali, Thailand. Many traces of this tradition are still visible, and in some areas in India, of course, as well. Okay, then another topic I wanted to talk about is it will come a little bit later in this chapter, but because basically what's happening right now is that the reason why the city is so nicely decorated is because Dhruva Maharaj returned home. So Dhruva Maharaj had left as a very young boy. He left the city, and a few verses before it was said that everybody was praising or talking to the queen, to the mother of Dhruva Maharaj, your lost son has come back. So it was a very jubilant situation, because Dhruva Maharaj more or less left offended, and he wasn't directly outcast, but he was treated as an outcast. He was treated as a second-class, member of the family by his father. He didn't give him the full protection and respect he deserved, and that's why he left the palace. The desire of Dhruva Maharaj was, of course, revenge, actually. He had a strong desire for revenge because he was treated so unfairly. And this motivation for revenge had brewed the desire that he wanted to have a stronger or bigger kingdom than his own father, or even his great-grandfather, even greater than Brahma. So one part of his desire was this, to get this recognition, this pratishta, to be established and recognized. And basically in this section, he achieved that for sure. Because he was the hero. He's receiving a hero's welcome, and his father is seating him, on an equal level as his brother. So this is a clear sign, of course, that Dhruva Maharaj achieved what he desired. And of course, he achieved much more even later on. But you could say at this point, the circle is closing, that he left, humiliated and offended, with a broken heart. And now he's been welcomed back by everyone, including his brother. He's welcomed very warmly. And it even is described with, strong emotions of almost ecstatic emotions were expressed when they welcomed him. And this is very interesting because later on, Dhruva Maharaj will avenge his brother. So, in the beginning he felt, you could say, disadvantaged against his brother. Now he's been put in the same position as his brother. And of course, technically he will become even more powerful than his brother. But later on, he actually avenges the death of his brother. So he had a very strong, you could say, commitment also and attachment to his brother that led him to, lead a very, you could say, destructive campaign of revenge for the death of his brother against the Yakshas. So this is another chapter. I don't want to tell too much about it, but it's one of the, you could say, next very interesting episodes of this story. How Dhruva Maharaja, you could say, is overcome actually by this, you could say, tendency for revenge. This tendency for revenge was still there, and the Yakshas, were at the receiving end. And it's a very heroic, you could say, description, but at the same time, Brahma ultimately had to stop, Dhruva Maharaj. from his killing rampage against the yakshas. Okay, so the purport is very short, so I will make a short lecture today. But maybe there are questions or comments, then maybe the lecture can go a little bit longer. Yes. What are yakshas? Yakshas are the followers of Kuvera. You know who Kuvera is? So Kuvera is Kuvera is also one of the Dikpalas. So this is the temple of Nrsingadev, and the temple of Nrsingadev, like the description in the Brahma Samhita, like the spiritual world, also has Dikpalas, the guardians of the directions. So we have the Dwarapalas. At each gate, we have 2 Dwarapalas guarding the entrances, and in the 8 directions, we also have Dikpalas. So in this direction, technically this is east, but Nrsimhadev is looking in this direction. So Nrsimhadev is always looking east, even east is there. So therefore, Kuvera is there. So Kuvera is right behind you. This, Bali Pitams we have outside, 8 of them. The one there represents Kuvera. So the Yakshas are the followers of Kuvera. And the Yakshas are not like demigods. So demigods or Devatas, the Devatas, they are directly, associated as or described as servants of Vishnu, basically. They accept Vishnu as supreme, and they worship Vishnu, and they are part of the administration of the universe. The Yakshas generally are more associated with Shiva. So you will see that many Shiva temples or temples also of Devi, Shakti, they will have in the entrance Yakshas. So like a Vishnu temple has, Vishnu Dutas guarding the temple. Shiva temples and Devi temples will have Yakshas or female Yakshinis also, guarding the temple. And they look a little bit fearsome, like some teeth. And they are human, but they're a little bit more ferocious and intimidating. And very powerful. They have mystic powers. They're very famous for having mystic powers. When they were fighting against Dhruva, they manifested all kinds of mystical illusions, and Dhruva was fighting against these mystical illusions that the Yakshas created. So they are, you could say, mystics also at the same time. Yes. Any other question? Yes. Is the live stream working? Okay, nice. Audible, audible. I can repeat the question. No.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
We have a new sound system.
Thanks for the interesting descriptions. It's not a question, just wanted to add some descriptions about Mysore for somebody who's interested. Actually, even now, during the Vijayadashmi time, or as they locally call it, Dasra, they have a very big procession in the Mysore palace with elephants and the king, or let's say the prince right now. They decorate the prince very royally, and there are big processions with elephants and all these rangolis and big celebrations with palm leaves. It's 3 or 4 days festival. It's very nicely documented as well. If somebody's interested, to see how it's very similar to the description what we were reading today. That the king is installed on the elephant and goes around the city. The whole palace is also decorated. There are a lot of dance ceremonies. Nowadays, a lot of electronic laser shows and things also happen. But still, traditionally it was done with lamps. The whole palace is really nicely decorated. And lot of interesting, and I mean, if somebody is really interested into to see how these processions were going on, can have a look.
So Vijayadashami, this is the victory of Ram when Ram returned. Diwali, basically, no? No.
No, it's Dashara.
The Dashera. So Vijayadashami.
Vijayadashami, yes.
Yes, so the victory of Ram over Ravana. Yeah, it's very famous. This palace is very, very beautiful. It's like lit, like all corners. You can see the entire building just by all the different lamps that are attached to it. Yes. Any other comments? Hare Krishna. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.